Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to the commercial food equipment repair industry. My name is Pat Finley. I am a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group and a certified Sylvester trainer. My goal is to rely on what I believe to be one of the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. I love the work I do, and I'm glad you're here listening to this podcast. In this episode, I have Dusty, Jason Latimer, and Rich Ortega on, and we just catch up with what's going on. What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be back, and this is the most faces I think I've had on the screen so far. So we got Dusty back, Rich Ortega, and Jason Latimer. So I'm looking forward to just catching up with these guys, see what's going on, and talking about their plans for the next few months coming in the summer, and see what they got, coming up for work and stuff like that. So how you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Thanks for having us.
Good.
I'm
finally
glad to
back.
finally meet Dusty.
Good to meet you, man. I've had to take it. I moved and work got super busy, and I was busy with moving and setting up all that stuff. And I think I bailed out on like 4 shows, but I'm good now. We're good now.
Well, he lives down by Louisville, works out Louisville. So like the last 2 weeks, Louisville have been an absolute nut house. So,
oh, dude, we've been slammed. So
it's derby time, man. It's derby time.
It is. It's been. I had a few like PMs, customers that we hadn't PM'd before, but they want to get stuff clean before Derby Day. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, it's probably pretty clean. They just want to be proactive. Like, no, it's like 4 years it hadn't been touched, no PMs done. So like, man, why now? Why this year? So it's stuff like that, and then service calls. I took a bunch of guys on call for the past 3. I just got off call Monday. I was on call for 3.5 weeks. So ready to chill this weekend, man.
You're getting that overtime, huh, Dustin?
Man, I clocked some big checks. That's all I'm going to say. I'm tired. Ready to relax this weekend, though. Mother's Day, I figure I get it all out of the way for Mother's Day so I can give the wife the weekend off. So
Nice.
My first ever on call in this industry was Mother's Day weekend, and I worked like 32 hours and from Friday night through Sunday. I was like, this is the dumbest weekend in the world.
Oh yeah, dude, that's like got to be peak busy season. I mean, you don't really think about it until you work in restaurants. You're like, man, Mother's Day, that's like the height of restaurants. I mean, I had a customer had a South Bend oven blower motor went out Wednesday. I ran it, and she was like, I need it. The GM was like, I need it done by Mother's Day. Have to get it done by Mother's Day, and it's a 13-year-old oven. And so we sent her a quote over, and it's the blower motor that's out in the wheel, and it's a South Bend, so it's it's a few grand. Quoted it out, and she was like, no, we'll hold off. Like, all right, they just got to swap that oven out, I guess. But she was freaking out about Mother's Day, and I was like, why? What's with potatoes and Mother's Day?
Oh, that's nuts, man. It gets crazy on Mother's Day, I guess.
I don't have call this weekend, so good luck to whoever does. I had a Derby weekend. So.
Yeah, I'm on call this weekend, so that's going to be
fun.
Yep.
I guess God be with you, I guess, from what I hear.
I took this one and got the holiday weekend free and clear, so I'd rather have this one than have a cookout and fire up the smoker and drink a couple beers maybe and have some friends over. So
you're on call this week, but you got off, Memorial Day?
Yeah, so I gave up this one, so the 2 other guys get the next 2 weeks, so I'll be clear till I pick up call Monday of the holiday, but by the time Monday rolls around, we probably won't have anything, so I'll be good.
I took the on-call guy. There's a guy who was set to be on call for Memorial Day the weekend, and I took it from him, so I'll be on call at the end of the month again. But he cut me some hefty Benjamins in that deal, so I went ahead and took it.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend, I'll be on the beach.
Yeah.
Panama City.
I'll be on a Pitco or something.
You'll be staring at Raising Canes is what you'll be staring at.
Oh my gosh, I'll be working on them. Dude, I've replaced 3 of those flat tops this week. Those AccuSteams.
AccuTeams?
Yeah.
They blow the plug out of them?
What'd you say?
They blow the plug out of them?
No, they just do them on one of them had a burner that was cracked and all corroded. All the orifices were clogged. Had a bunch of issues with it in the past. I think a couple guys before me replaced some parts on it. And their facilities guy he just sent one in. He called us, was like, I just got a new one coming in. So, and then it happened 2 other times, but I think they do them on a rotating basis. Every 6-7 years, they'll just swap them out. I did those. And startups on those are pretty cool. You got to do that official form for AccuTemp.
Aren't those hermetically sealed with water in them?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I was asking. If they blow the plug,
Aren't they considered a boiler?
Yep.
Of
It's a
a
pressure
certain level of boiler from ASME?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So they're actually made like an hour up the road from me in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But yeah, they have a high limit in there, and if it actually blows that plug out, the grill's just trash. You got to throw it away. You can't put a new one in. It's like you said, it's a pressure vessel. It's hermetically sealed, and if it loses water, it's just done.
They say you can fix it, but you have to get a welder to weld stainless, and at that point, like
You got to be a boiler.
Yeah, and then it has to be ASME approved if it's a boiler.
Yeah.
A pressure vessel. Yeah, we have those in the little breakfast joints here called Kiki's.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of work at Kiki's.
Yeah, they got those AccuTemps in there.
You do the one in Riverview?
Yeah, Riverview, Bradenton, I think Sarasota. I've been to the ones in Bradenton and Riverview. The one in Riverview is literally up the street on 301 for me. Not too far.
I was going to ask you because I seen a video and your location said Riverview, and first thing I thought about was, man, I used to do the Kiki's out in Riverview. So I was wondering if you had did those. Okay, cool.
Where are you guys based at? I know, Rich, you're in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina, Greenville.
South Carolina, Greenville.
Originally from Florida, though, from Central Florida.
Okay, I got you. Where are you at, Jason? Are you in
Tampa?
Tampa? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sunny side. There you go.
Oh, yeah, too sunny.
Too sunny.
Too sunny.
Humidity. That's what it is. Humidity is the devil.
Yeah, the humidity is the only reason I'm not in the garage. I was just like, I took a shower. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed at 9. We'll do this from 8 to 9. Took a shower, went out there, and I just started sweating. I was like, nah, I'm just going to come inside.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Indiana's terrible about humidity, man. But in the summertime, it generally gets 90 degrees. Occasionally, we'll hit 100, man. And when it does, it's so humid you can't even breathe, man. It's ridiculous.
It's heavy on the lungs, right?
Yeah,
it is. It's rough. That's what I always thought humidity was bad here, but I went to that Sopesta class in Fort Mill.
Yep.
Dude, in August, I think the first day it was like 96 and humid, but I was like, oh, 96. And I was walking out to my car to drive to class, and I felt like I got punched in the chest. I was like, oh my God, what is this?
Well, I learned something this week. So I had Unox class this week. I've had 3 days of Unox. It was fun. I learned some stuff, but you know how they calibrate humidity is humidity is actually humid air is thinner than actual dry air is what they say. That's how they calibrate humidity. So if the fan wheel spins at a certain RPM faster than it should, that's how they know the humidity level. That's how they calibrate the humidity in their ovens. They don't have a humidistat like Rationale has or anything else. So it's kind of weird. So they said that the drier the air, the heavier it is, which you think that's backwards.
It doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't feel that way at all.
But yeah, coming from Florida, the humidity here is almost nothing. Like people, when I first got up here, were like, "Oh, wait till the summertime. It's so hot. It's so humid." And I'm running circles around them when that summertime hit. I'm like, yeah, this place got nothing. I'm like, we had like 3 humid days last year that, for me being from Florida, that I was like, okay, yeah, this is a bit much. But other than that, now it's great.
Georgia is where the humidity is, man. Like southern Georgia, like how do people survive down there?
Florida, it rains like 2 inches in like 5 minutes, and then the sun comes back out, and you can just watch it just evaporate. You're like, this is gonna suck.
See, and that's the thing. When I first left Florida, because I lived in Lynchburg, Virginia for a while, I'm like, it rained in the summertime, and then like the weather cooled down. And I'm telling people, I'm like, yo, in Florida, when it rains, it gets worse. I'm like, the rain hits the ground, and you see the steam coming off the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason's like, you guys ain't telling me nothing. I live this every day.
He's like,
every
cowards.
day.
Cowards.
Embrace the suck and get over it. I got my in-laws, my sister and her husband. He's a Marine, and they lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina, I think it is. And man, anytime I go anywhere north, I don't care if it's Georgia, the evenings are beautiful. It's now they live in Georgia. He moved from a Marine to Army base and whatnot, and it's looking forward to visiting there. We're going to Maine in like 30 days, going back up there. I was talking to Jennifer about it, HVAC chick. So we're going to spend a week up there, see family. I can't wait, man. In the dead summer, up in the New England area is just, it's like winter down here. You know, it's just for Florida winter. But
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
I'll take it. I won't live up there, but I love to vacation up there, man.
Are you gonna?
I can really appreciate it.
Are you gonna stop by? Are you gonna try to meet up with Jennifer while you're there? At least say hi.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we're gonna try to go to dinner. Me and the wifey and the kids and stuff.
That's nice.
And get up with her. If you saw the last episode, we literally, you know, it's the three places where she's from, where she lives now, and where she like works is like the three places my wife's family's from. So it's just too cool. It's like, that's crazy. I'm looking forward to that.
That was a good episode. I tuned in, and I may have been a little intoxicated that night. I don't generally drink like that, and my wife got me, man.
Maybe.
I spent like $1,700 on remote control cars that night.
Oh, damn.
I didn't to show up yesterday, and one showed up yesterday. I was like, hey, there's going to be a package come. And she goes, what is it? And I was like, well.
See, those things look fun, though. I mean, I don't fault you for that, because those things, it looks like one of those things where you get into, and it's like, I feel like you can just really pack it on. Yeah,
it's something me and my youngest son do. Like, he doesn't play sports. The other kids play sports. We travel, did lessons, and like me and him just do stuff. Like, we rebuilt our golf cart. We're doing this. If I had a car, I'd be probably out there tinkering on it with him. You know, it's just something he likes doing. So as long as he's having fun, I'm having fun. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We did Monster Jam recently with the VP, one of our VPs, and he brought probably like $5,000 worth or more of racing cars, and like he had we were barbecuing, drinking, and he had all the car. He was doing like a mechanical shop. He had full all the tools out. He was changing tires, and his kids were running over. They were doing. I was like, man, they got a whole pit crew going on here, and he's cooking at the same time. And, I mean, these things are doing like 60, 70, 80 miles across the field. Like, I'm just like, damn, that is fast. Like, that's faster than a.
It's 0 to 60 and nothing with those electric motors. Yeah. They're there in a heartbeat. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool that he brought those, but apparently it's a thing. Like, there was hundreds of people with him. I was just like, oh, I'm behind. I didn't know this was that cool. You're dropping $1,700. I'm like, well, okay, it's a little. Yeah. So I gotta run that past the accountant. The wife.
Batteries, so it was cheaper. It would have been a lot more if I had to buy batteries. So what do you guys do for hobbies? Rich, you do anything, or just hang out with the family and take it easy, or
mostly hang out with the family? Now that I consider us finally settled up here in South Carolina, I'm gonna get back to camping and fishing and going to the gun range and all that good stuff. That's the normal stuff that we like to do as a family. So yeah, that, drink beer, smoke a few cigars, that kind of stuff.
Yes, nice. When we get together, I want to smoke a cigar. I seen your post today, and I was like, dude, I'm a cigar and bourbon guy. So
see, I've never been able to get into bourbon. I've tried different bourbons, and I'm like, man, I like whiskey, I like rum, some vodkas I like. But I'm like, bourbon just has always had this. I don't know what about it. I just can't.
I have to do it on ice. So generally when I record, I try to drink a little bit because it loosens me up a little bit. I see Dusty's drinking a beer because he gets
high life.
He gets kind of a little tight, so he has a couple beers, so relaxes a little bit. But
I got Stella right here.
There you go.
What you got, Jason's like, I got water.
Just got water.
I mean, I got 2 whiskey bottles in the freezer. I just I didn't know it was that type of party. I feel like I should go run and grab it.
Come on, man, crack them open.
I didn't do it for a while. So like, I get to where I want to do it every day, and I catch myself, and I'll stop myself, and I won't do it for a while because it's just my addictive personality kicking in. And like right now, I'm that way with cigars, and I need to stop and chill out for a couple of weeks, and then get back into it. So that's probably what I need to do. I spend way too much money on it, but I could be doing worse stuff. I could be buying expensive RC cars, I guess.
Yeah, $1,700 on cigars or RC cars.
Well, yeah. What about you, Jason? Do you do anything outside of work and hang out with family?
Yeah, we like to go to the movies. We like to just spend. We got a pool, and we live in a little HOA, but we got a nice little oasis in the back. So we like to go swimming. We like to barbecue. For me, for hobby wise, like I like to just research and talk to people and do stuff that has to do with the industry. It's kind of hard for me to separate what I do for work and what I do for fun because I love both. Yeah. It just makes me happy to just try to grow personally and try to network. I love networking with people and whatnot. And but other than that, we try to go on trips and stuff like that. You know, do my little church thing, and other than that, just chilling, man. Just chilling.
I when I was younger, I struggled with money. Had kids young, had a house I shouldn't have had, that kind of stuff, and like I'd never take a vacation. My wife would go on vacation. She'd take the kids and go for mom and stepdad, and they go see family. And I'd work the entire time. I had to take my vacation checks and take the money, you know, to do stuff. And then eventually the kids got a little older, and I started, you know, regretting that decision, and finally started taking vacations. And I mean, I was like, man, I've been missing out on so much all these years. I mean, it's like I'm not a person that just can't sit and not do anything. It takes a lot for me just to sit on the beach for 4 or 5 hours. But I mean, I do have fun. It's just my mind doesn't shut off. So I can see it. But I mean, I do enjoy going on vacation. And I just can't be a beach sitting there all day. I can't do that crap.
Man, I do like my wife does the same thing. She'll take the girls and they'll go do something, you know, a weekend or something. I really do like my peace, man. I just, you know, and it's funny because I have to, if I'm not doing what I'm normally doing, and if I get like alone time, like the kids are gone, everyone's gone, I'm like, I'll be a couch potato and have a drink and watch some Star Trek or something, something corny, you know. But I'm happy.
See Brian Sanders' comment. Jason wants to go to a Star Trek convention.
Right on time. Look at this guy. I do. I go to Comic-Con. My cousin's husband, he does comics, and he does really good comics. I'll have to share it with you guys. But he does the Comic-Con up here in Tampa. My sister will come up, and the kids will all go and support him, and that's an opportunity for me to geek out and whatnot. So
that's awesome. Yeah, there's always a real
simple life
convention here in Indy, and it's always nuts. It's packed. Like I'll be driving through downtown with people in costumes. I get on Indiana Convention Center and see what's in. I'm like, oh, it's Comic-Con or it's this con or something. It's always something going on. So it's always pretty cool. Surprised you haven't had you as like a superhero or anything yet.
Who?
Your cousin? Would you say it was your cousin or your cousin's husband or somebody that does comics? Or?
Oh yeah, my cousin's to do me like draw me up as. Oh, yeah, I should do that.
Would it be PM Man or something like that?
That would be. Consider it done.
It's done.
He's got little Viper Venom packs that come out of his belt.
This is great. If they do it, Viper has to sponsor you. I don't care what it takes.
Oh, that would be pretty awesome. What are you guys doing next week?
I got a bunch of installs. I got some. I teach. So last night was my first night actually teaching for Field Piece. I've been signed up to do it for over a year. It's kind of just been hit or miss. And so last night I went to a local distributor, and I was late because I had class, but I got there for about an hour, 15 minutes, and I taught proper evacuation, so how to pull proper vacuum. They want you to teach it through a manifold, single hose without a manifold, and a dual hose without a manifold. And they want you to show how to pull cores, use a core removal tools, use their app, and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. So it's my first one, so I tried using the slideshow the entire time, and it went miserably. I was like, this is stupid. I can't do this. So she's like, well, Pat, you got like 40 minutes left. And I was like, okay. I was like, you know what, screw the slideshow. Shut the computer. I was like, let's go over here. Let's play with these hoses. Let's play with this pump. Let's play with this micro gauge. If you got the Field Piece app, fire it up. Let's go. And it was a lot cool. It was pretty cool. So I got one Monday up in Fort Wayne. And then I'm going to NRA on Friday. So I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's not the gun convention. Every time I put something,
I know.
I'm waiting on someone to report it and get me in trouble. But it's a National Restaurant Association. It's up in Chicago every year. It's a pretty big deal. So I'm going to go up Friday, and I'm going to go up to Parkstown. I'm going to tour the place, check out the new, add some more robots. And so I'll go around, talk to the marketing team, talk to everybody, get some footage. And then Friday night's the big Parkstown party. And Saturday I'll go to the show. Sunday I'll go to the show. So I'm excited. I'm going to go see Rich. He's hanging out some booths. I'm going to film some stuff with him, hopefully, and see if I can't find some other people there and just kind of mingle. I was hoping my buddy Matt would be there from Cason. He sent me some swag. He can't make it, so I think one of his counterparts there, so I may try to find them. So,
man, that sounds awesome. I would have loved to go into that. Yeah. I'll have to plan that better next year. There's quite a bit of conventions and whatnot that I just missed out on because of scheduling, especially last year while I was, in the field. I definitely We do a thing where they ask you what 2 professional and 1 personal goal every year for all the employees, whether you're tech, office staff, and one of them. And they're kind of you hold your manager kind of liable to help you, and they hold you liable to make sure you're meeting all the goals. And one of them for me was to go to conventions and whatnot. And this year I'm trying to be more intentional and try to schedule these things better so I can be out there and see more people.
NAFM was a blast.
Yeah, that was.
So you and the rickshaw going live.
NAFM was nice.
So
NAFM was nice, man.
It only happens every other year, so there won't be one next year. So, and is that in Orlando every year? Every time it comes around, is it always?
No, I think it's in California next year. Next time. I'm not sure if it's here every time.
Contract to do a certain amount in Orlando, I think, is what happened, because it used to be in different places, but I don't know how long that contract.
Well, I heard the one prior to that was canceled due to COVID, so it landed just like that. So that's why this one was really big for a lot of people. They missed out. It's been 4 years, but man, that was crazy. It was. I met a lot of nice people, learned a lot of stuff. And it was some long nights. So.
Long nights. Jason was in high demand. He was getting around, so he hung out with the Fed group guys. I missed that one, so that looked like a good time to talk golf. So, but AHR is always a good one. It's not really fully designed towards the our side, the kitchen side of it, but there's a lot of refrigeration companies there. There's a lot of chemical companies there, a lot of tool companies there, and it's just really cool to see how AHR really embraces the technicians. It's like. It's kind of become like where all the technicians want to go. So, I mean, I'm there hanging out. You go there, you hang out with all the big name Instagram people, all the big, the plumbers, the HVAC guys. They have the podcast pavilion, and I really wish that NRA would do something like that, a podcast pavilion, or try to make it more friendly for techs. The bad thing about NRA, it's open to the public, so anybody can pay the money and go there. So, so I doubt they go too crazy, but. I'd like to see them do more for, us guys in the field. And I've mentioned it several times. I've tagged them and they just ignore it. So,
what if it's open to the public, what have you seen the type of people going? If it's open to the public, I'm sure more is better.
I think
what do you think those people are doing there?
I think the first day is maybe industry only. And I think once Sunday it opens to the public, because it goes like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm not sure. It's just where mostly like buyers will go and like look at new equipment. So a lot of companies, they'll unveil their new equipment for their year there. So like Unox, he's talking about they're unveiling their new speed oven. So they're doing a speed combi, which is kind of weird. I want to go check it out and see it firsthand. So it's actually a small scale combi oven that has a microwave feature in it. It cleans and does everything. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how that's going to be. That's going to be something different. So, but I just try to go around, check out all the new equipment, and see some of the industry contacts I know. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of technical guys. So if you know a lot of technical guys, most of the time they're not there. That's the bad thing. It's always pretty much sales guys. And by the time they find out, you're a technician, they don't talk to you. No, you're not buying equipment, and they just walk away. You know what I mean?
That sounds like the FRA show, which is the Florida Restaurant Association. I've been to that a couple of times, and it's mostly sales guys and end users, and the end users usually go the last day because the sales guys are like, buy this from me now so we don't have to haul it back to the warehouse and stuff like that, and they get real good deals and whatnot. So
I wonder, that's what's crazy is like the AHR, that's what it used to be, is like sales reps and like engineers and like professionals, I guess you could call them. And then eventually it wasn't like, I guess I wouldn't say infiltrated, but it was like technicians started going, and that's kind of how that grew. And now AHR is what? Mostly technicians? Is that mostly the pool?
It's crazy. But the thing AHR does though is they like promote it to technicians. They use the technicians to promote it on social media. They have these tool manufacturers or these equipment manufacturers have big meetups, and they bring in all those, the influencers they deal with. They come in and they'll swarm their booth, and there'll be 300 people at a booth, and they're giving away a press tool. They're giving away this, and it's just, they're not stupid. They're making money off it because everyone's sharing it. Everyone's going live. Everyone, it's profitable on both ends. But the thing they really do is like they have ambassadors. Like AHR will send out. They'll pick a bunch of guys, on social media. And they'll send them out coolers full of like swag and stuff, and they're pretty much an ambassador. And then they also have, the podcast pavilion where you can go and you can book a time. It books out fast. So if I message you guys coming up in June, be ready because it'll book out in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So,
You're talking about AHR?
Yeah, she'll release it in
out?
June. It'll be full in a day. It's nuts. I got lucky and got a cancellation and got my spot, but my spot was
crap.
the last spot of the entire
Just
show.
happened.
So it's pretty crazy, but they do a good job just including the text, and it's just, I mean, dude, I had an epic rant this morning and I didn't post it because my last one caught some flack, and just people in corporate were like, "Hey, don't do this." Oh,
Jason's gone. He
maybe,
said, "F y'all."
but maybe I caught some flack because I was like, I knew it was gonna catch some flack, but I was like, I see all these posts and these people, these companies like recognizing these owners and managers of these food service companies. It's me adding back. But it's been nothing but posts of these companies like recognizing and honoring these bosses for doing all this stuff. And I'm like, there's nobody recognizing the technicians out in the field doing it, man. And that's kind of like my goal, my mission, like, to get us some recognition out here. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm going to try my damnedest.
Right.
So you said that AHR it sells out in June?
No, they book out the podcast pavilion. So the show sells out. It's so big it doesn't sell out. So it's like last year was in the Atlanta Convention Center. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's absolutely huge.
Where's it going to be this year?
Chicago in 2024. So that's at the McCormick Place or whatever they call it.
That's right by the mile too.
Yeah, it's right there on the lake or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be there. I guess the hotels are pretty much already sold out. They're attached to it.
Yeah.
It's not until February, so it's fun. So, but I mean,
we'll have to put in for some PTO for that, man.
Yeah, at least, man, come up. Like, the show starts on Monday. It only goes 3 days. But if you're going to come up, you need to come up on that Sunday night and go to the HVAC Tactical Award Show. That will sell out pretty fast. But, I mean, that show's a blast. It's cool. You come in, you dress in your suit, you come in, and next year's going to be even bigger. They're going to do a meet and greet like they did before. They had a cocktail hour, then they did the dinner and awards, and they're actually going to have a post party because last year everyone was trying to figure out where to go, this year. So next year he's just going to host his own post party and just everyone can just stay there and just keep mingling and let the party continue instead of, everybody splitting off to 10 different bars or whatever. So
that sounds cool. That sounds really cool.
All right, say it now. I'm going to be there.
Let's go.
Hold me to it, Pat. Hold me to it.
Austin's the podcast pavilion, so we can get up there and hang out. I tried getting a food service guy. I couldn't really get one nailed down. Like I said, my spot was like Wednesday, at 2. I'm looking out, and there's like nobody in the podcast pavilion. There's like 5 people. It's just people stopping to like get off their feet. And people tearing down their booths in the background. They're dropping stuff. Like, this is stupid.
Did you get in at the last minute or something?
Yeah, I got a cancellation. There was actually another one after mine, and my buddies from HVAC R&D like, "Oh, you can have our spot too." I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm doing my 45 minutes and I'm out." I was ready to go at that point. I was just wore out. It was a 2-week ordeal. So we left Friday, drove to Gatlinburg Friday, Saturday, Sunday, left Gatlinburg Sunday, drove to Orlando for that week, and then left Orlando on Saturday and drove to Atlanta for a week, and then came home. I was by Wednesday. I was like, I don't even want to stay there tonight. I just want to go home.
Yeah, I'll be there next year. I've been saying it.
Yeah, that's what's up. Rich, put it on the calendar, man.
He's like, I'm not going to Chicago in February.
We'll just
Chicago in
mob that
February, yeah.
You know
I'll FaceTime y'all.
I ain't got time for this.
Buy the coat.
There will be no humidity, so we're good.
Last time I was in Chicago I went to the Taylor School for a week and a half. Went to Rockford.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did that a few years ago.
So are you guys a Taylor certified company so you can work on Taylor under warranty, or do you just go just to go?
We were when we owned for a decade. When we owned the all our McDonald's before we sold them last October. So we kind of was under the guise of, we have in-house. Yeah. So we would take all the classes and whatnot. So we work on our own stuff and we'd certify and do non-warranty for customers. But Taylor's on their stuff about warranty. They're not They're not trying to have anyone else do that. So just like Hobart.
Yeah, they're owned by Middleby now.
Taylor is?
Yeah, so like
they sold out?
Yeah, so Taylor's owned by Middleby now. So like the Taylor guy was doing like a warranty Pitco call one day. I was like, it was some young kid, and he was like, he told the guy that was working there like how much he made, and the guy's like, he's like, these guys have been doing this. This guy had been doing it for a couple of years. Was making like $20 an hour.
Oh, they don't make crap. I've talked to a couple of them.
This guy was the guy I work with. He's like,
Rich.
Over here. You see this kid over here? And he's talking about my son. He's like, he's been doing it 7 months and makes more money than you. I was laughing at him. I was like, come on, dude, don't do that to this guy. Today he's scrolling through the ads for lately. I was like, oh, stop.
Those factory spots, they don't really pay a whole lot, you know?
No.
It's like warranty factory deals. I mean, I guess you have the consistency of only working on one line of equipment, but I mean, financially, it's just kind of, I couldn't do it either. I mean, I need variety. So
yeah, that would bore me to death. That's why I can't do like a in-house position. I'm not trying to go to every, McDonald's or every whatever day in and day out. I'm like, I need different stuff, and I need stuff that's going to challenge me. I mean, a lot of stuff is cool, quick in and out service calls, but I'm like, no, I need to use my brain and figure out some stuff that really needs to be figured out.
For sure. Yeah. And then if you do like in-house stuff, it's kind of like droll. Like you're doing the same thing day in, day, even though it may be a different piece of equipment, eventually there's only so much in one spot. Mm-hmm. So you're, nonstop day in and day out doing the same thing. It drove me nuts.
Well, that's why I left working at Steak and Shake when they had a maintenance department. It was just, I had a dozen stores, 30 when I was on call, but one store is like they're all the same cookie cutter. So it's always the same equipment if you walk into one or the other. So I eventually left because I was bored, man. It was just like, I can't work on the same flat top. And then when I got out, it was just like, whoa, there's clamshells. Never seen that before. Dealing with gas and all this other stuff. I'm like just excited because it's all new and whatnot. But what I heard, what I understand, Pat and Rich, is that, because the owner of you guys' company sells parts, that a lot of the work you do is warranty work. Is that true?
We do a lot of warranty stuff. There's a lot of other companies that do it too. But yeah, we do a lot of warranty work.
Yeah, I do.
Well, then you get to work on a lot of newer stuff. Then that's a great way to learn on stuff too.
Yep.
We work on newer stuff, but I work on a crap ton of older stuff. It seems like all the McDonald's up here have 20-something-year-old grills, and I'm like,
yeah,
for the love of God, get rid of these, please.
He's working on a 9501. I'm like, they don't even. Where are you getting parts for this thing at?
They still do the parts. I don't know if just a bunch of McDonald's still have them, so they're like, it's worth it to keep the parts going or what. But we got no issue getting parts for them. But I'm like, for the love of God, like trying to level a platen on one of those things. Like I did that Wendy's startup today, and I was showing the trainee that's riding with me. I'm like, this is how you do a platen on a new grill. First of all, you can work on it while it's cold. You can't do that on those old McDonald's grills. So we're getting the hell burned out of our hands and stuff because you got to use a stainless steel tool to measure the gap on two hot surfaces. And I'm like, look, you see this? We turn the temperature off. It's still cold. Press these couple buttons, make it go up and down a couple times. We did that whole grill started up in less time than it takes to do one platen on a 9501 or on a World grill.
So my wife, she has 3D printers, and they have, you have to level the bed all the time because it's always heat and flexing their aluminum and stuff. And it's got 4 springs underneath there, and she can't ever do it. And I'm like, move out of the way. I'm like, I'm trying to explain to her. She'll get it. She's like, well, I got them all, but now this one's wrong. I was like, well, you adjusted this one, so the one that's adverse corner is affected by it. And why does that? I was like, just let me do it. I'll just do it that way. I was like, I did this for years because when I first started, I cut my teeth at old McDonald's, man.
Yeah, so you called me the other day and I answered my phone and you're like, oh, you're at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You can hear the beeping in the background.
Dude, I hate it now, man.
You heard those
when I first started gapping, I used to take the World Grill and the 9501s. I would take the pancake lid from McDonald's, the clear one, and I would go over, put some ice in it, and I would set it between the grills, and I would put the little angle iron in there, the and do it, and then I would just set it in there because it would get hot to the touch because I'd do them all, and I'd be just
Yeah. I like that idea. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to do that next time.
I had two sets of tools, and one would stay in the tray of ice, and I'd use the other one. It'd get hot, and I'd throw it in there and grab the other set and just keep going.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's not just me.
That's genius right there. That's
Yep.
my fingers thank you for that, bro.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
E-tool's awesome, the ball gauge, but you can't use it at Chick-fil-A on their grill. But
I tried using that ball gauge today on that Wendy's, and I just could not get it. I went and pulled out the regular 80 mil gap tool, and I had them things like nothing.
well, I forgot.
Talking about the go no go stick.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep, they
Oh,
got
you guys cheating with that too?
no. That's how they're teaching now.
Oh yeah, go to put in mushrooms.
You just set it so on the new ones you set your height for calibration. So the L gauge is 80 mils. Well, the go gauge is 400 mils. So instead of setting 80, you set the 400 and you just gap it to that, and it does fine.
Man, I got to bring Luke on the show.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that.
yeah, bring him on, man. I like Luke. That kid's out there killing it.
Yeah, you seen him? Yeah, he's having a blast. That kid's wild. Yeah, we love him, man.
My son's the same way, dude. He's out there if he beats me to a job, he's in there working. I'm like, man, what are you doing, dude?
That's great.
It's good to see young kids do that, though, man, because a lot of them don't do it. I mean,
yeah.
So
next week,
go ahead.
Next week, Wednesday, I'm going to hang out with Xavier, Jesus, and Paul Smith. Xavier works out of New York. He does Warewash and Hot Side. I don't know if you've seen him online.
Yeah, he works for.
Yeah, so he flew in a few days ago. His folks live in like North Tampa. Jesus lives in the Orlando area. He has his thing, and then Paul has worked. He has a house down here in Atlanta, and he's flying in just to hang out and whatnot. So that's something we're doing Wednesday night. I think I'm gonna take Thursday off.
Sweet.
So yeah, hang out with the fellas, talk shop, and chill.
Yeah, I remember he left because he worked for a company that got bought out by Parkstown, and he went on some rampage on like social media about it and left, and he was looking for a job in New York, and I was like, that's when we're like, we kept tagging Rich. I'm like, scoop him up, dude. He's in your area.
Yeah, try that out.
That's cool.
I don't know when. There's something going on down here. I can't remember the name of the convention, but last year Rich was at it. I'm trying to think what it's called, Mesa or something with an M. It was in like Naples, Florida, but I think it's coming up. I'm wondering if Rich is going to check that out.
Well, he hits them all, so
yeah.
So one thing I wanted to mention is I was talking to a guy I work with. He's an older guy. He actually was on the show one time. It was Greg, and
Greg.
He was talking about how like these guys aren't catching on as fast as we did. And I was like, Greg, you started doing this 40 years ago. I was like, you could carry you could drive a little bitty Astro van with like 2 totes of parts and fix everything you touched every day. I was like, think about it. I was like, that's back in when every oven used the same thermostat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thermostat. Maybe a different part number. It was the same exact make. And if you look at the part, the number on the actual thermostat was the same for all of them. I was like, think about that. I was like, you want to call these guys out so they're not catching on. I said, but they're learning on freaking computers, thousands of wires in these ovens and stuff. I said,
Teslas.
And you learned on something that, you have in your house, is wilder than that. I'm like, you can't look at it the same way. So I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on that. It's complete opposite. I've been doing it 17 years, and versus what I started with to today is insane. I couldn't imagine 40 years.
100%. I have to tell customers all the time. I'm like, you would think that all these ovens now are, work exactly the same. I'm like, but no, ice machines and stuff. Because customers sometimes will be like, oh, why are you looking in a manual? I'm like, do you see what this is? I'm like, this isn't 20 years ago when it was wires, switches, and thermostats. I'm like, you would think, oh, all we're doing is baking, but that's not what the engineer and the manufacturer is saying. Oh, all you need to do is bake. They got a bunch of different, calibrations, a lot of different precision engineering and all that stuff. And I'm like, what I know how to do is I understand how this works, and here's the details of it, and that's it.
Yeah. I hear that from customers. They're like, don't send someone who's going to be reading a manual or calling tech support. I'm like, well, I'm doing the best I can, with we all know they all do the same thing. They cook, right? But yeah, I have to read the manual because they're all different and the parts come from China, Taiwan, and Japan. But it's not any better when you call tech support and you can tell they're reading through the manual too. So you can just do the best you can, but just try to communicate with people. They get a little frustrated. They see us pulling out a manual, and at the end of the day, you make one wrong move in there, and you'll destroy the thing. You'll burn a bunch of stuff out. It'll short, sparks are flying, and then they're really looking at you funny, like, "What'd you do?" Doing my best.
He thinks we're crazy. He's only been doing hot side cooking for a couple of years. He's like, man, that's all I know is this crazy stuff. So
yeah,
just imagine where it's going to be 20 years for you, Dusty.
That's what I'm thinking, man. Like I said, I've been in the kitchens. What is it, about a year and a half now? Getting close to it. So like all I've known is the crazy stuff. Every now and then I get to touch a piece of like old dinosaur equipment, which is fun. But like I'll look at it and I'm like, damn, man, if only.
What he calls dinosaur equipment is the stuff we look at and we're like, I know how that works.
That's what it is.
I think that was ageism for a second. Is that ageism?
I got
a little.
I got a that has GE ovens from the 50s in it, and they still work. They just don't use them. They're still in there. I'm like, it's insane.
And that's the thing too. Like I hear a lot of customers and technicians say, and people in general, like, oh, they just don't make them like you used to. It's like, well, they don't. Made totally different. And like you guys are saying, like, I'm not shy to read the manual on any piece of equipment because it's not only because I want to know for sure and I'll take that chance as an opportunity to learn, but also like I don't want to mess something up. It's like I can assume all day long, okay, this Henny Penny works the same as this Pitco, or this South Bend is the same as this Blodgett. But at the end of the day, unless you can verify it with material and literature, I mean, why not? Well, how much longer does that take? Like, it's like HVAC Technical Ben says that RTFM, just read the manual, and then you have no stress, like your stress level's lower, and and you learn something. I mean, there's stuff now that you don't need a manual for, and once you work on it for so long, but I'm not shy to pull out that manual. I'll whip it right out. And I mean, because like at the end of the day, I'm not misdiagnosing, and that's what I'm avoiding. And I would rather, that guy came out, was here for 20 minutes, misdiagnosed it. Instead, this guy was here reading the service manual, but it's working. So
exactly. And what I'll do, if it's something I've never worked on, there's plenty of times like I look at my service ticket, I see what the complaint is, and I'll call manufacturer tech support like right before I even head out to the job, and I'm like, look, I'm going to work on this. This is what they're saying the problem is. I don't want to look like a jackass when I walk in the door. How does this thing work? What do I need to start looking at? And most tech support guys, when I told them that, oh no, man, cool. Look for this, and this. Look for this, that, the other. If that don't take care of it, call us back. You should be good to go. 9 times out of 10, I don't even have to call them back because they gave you some good information on that. But yeah, I'd rather do that. And if not, I don't care to call tech support in front of the customer and tell the customer, hey, I don't know everything. I can either guess and maybe I get it right, maybe I make it worse, or I can call somebody who knows and we can make sure we get it right for you.
Exactly. 100%. And it's just, it also sometimes I've called tech support too. Well, now with the wait times, it's almost, I don't really do it like this as much, but sometimes I've called just to verify diagnostics. Like just tell them what you read through. And then sometimes you'll get the guy who's reading the tree. And that guy, he gets down to the end of the tree and he's like, well, no idea. But when you get like knowledgeable tech support, you can kind of run it by them, what your findings, what you found. And then they'll also be like, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like it's about it. And then also snatch the part number at that same time. But it's, I mean, I've never seen a stigma. Hey, because when I first got into kitchen stuff, I'd only done HVAC. And, so we were short a guy and we had a ton of work, hot side. So I said I'd try it. So, I mean, first calls, man, I'm like dialing tech support. I'm pulling out the manual. And that's how I learned with a lot of the stuff. So I'm still not afraid of it.
Ryan says, how much free food are you guys offering while servicing these restaurants? Well, I will tell you, 17 years ago, 235 pounds. Last year, I weighed 200 more than that. So
I'll tell you this: since I left Florida, almost zero.
Really?
I don't know why. In Florida, everywhere you go, and I'm sure Jason can confirm this, they almost take it as an insult in a lot of places if you don't take food from them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had like one customer in particular when I was in Florida, super high-end restaurant, like with the discount, it would cost me and my wife $300 for dinner there. And I'm working in his kitchen full of grease, and he's like, man, come out, let's eat in the middle of the dining room. Mm-hmm. And when I tell him, like, dude, you got all these customers here, forget them, whatever. Here, nah. I mean, maybe 3 times in the year and a half I've been here. Wow. I've been offered free food.
Wow. I think the Florida thing is because it's hot, man. If you fix the AC, bro, that's why my little tag is lunchtime hero, man. Because I love coming in clutch before lunch, but man, fixing an AC here, they're ready to name the kid after you, man. So
we got Bartolomucci in the house. What's up, buddy?
Oh, you see
David, his brother. There's some good guys, man.
Ray.
They do a pretty cool little software. Unfortunately, I'll probably never try it where I'm working at, but he gave me a demo of it at Cefesa, and it was actually pretty cool, man. If you're a small kitchen repair company, it'd be right up your alley, man. So they're pretty cool guys. Jennifer says she never takes food from Chinese restaurants. Yeah, dude, I've seen some crazy stuff at some Chinese restaurants.
Yeah, no.
We don't even do any. We don't currently do any, so I'm not sure what I'm missing.
My buddy from Whaley's is who used to work for Whaley's. He's passed away since. I think the last time I actually seen him, it was in Riverview at a little Chinese spot. He's like, man, and the dude likes to eat. He was like, I've never eaten Chinese food. I was like, oh.
Dude, this lady had cabbage in a burlap sack in the parking lot running it over for a car, to smash it out.
What? She was
said what?
Their egg rolls in them. And she threw the heads of cabbage in a burlap sack and had it in the parking lot. Was running over it to smash it down.
What's wrong with that?
And you're gonna ruin it for me, Pat. I love Chinese food, bro.
I love it too. I just
out of sight, out of mind. I like I'm over it now. It's like I'm involved. I do sushi now. You know, at least you can see what they're doing. So.
My thing is like when I first started, I freaked out. And I was like, man, I ate this shit before I worked here. Oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't kill you yet, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like with that, like I've been in some of the nicest, $80 a plate restaurants, $100 a plate restaurants, and I wouldn't eat at. But I've been at some fast food restaurants where I would eat at. So it's like you can't really. I mean, there's really no justification on any of that. Like you have no idea.
No,
at the end of the day,
it's the weirdest thing, man. Places you think.
I'd say God's chicken is always clean. That's Chick-fil-A. So.
Oh yeah.
I'll always eat there.
Jesus chicken.
Yeah, their places are real clean.
He said Jesus chicken.
Jesus chicken, man. It's blessed. Even if it's dirty, it's blessed by the Lord. So you're all right. You know what I'm saying?
Sacrilege.
And Cane's too. Cane's, I'll eat at a Cane's too. That's a clean shop right there.
I've only been at one since they've opened, and they weren't open for business yet for the day, so I didn't get anything. But it looks.
I mean, they have like fryers and a griddle and a dump station. Like it can't get too dirty, I think is the thing. But at the end of the day, if I don't see it, like I'll eat burlap sack egg rolls, like because I didn't know.
No,
so
he's ready. He's ready.
What I don't know hasn't hurt me yet, so
that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we're being pumped full of stuff without us knowing it anyway, just through the FDA. Can I say
that? We're now on a federal watch list. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah. Guess I'll be driving to Maine.
Yeah. Something happened with your flights, or.
No, I do not want to end up on that list, unfortunately. It's bad enough my wife is flying Spirit everywhere because it's cheap. I was like, my big ass is not flying Spirit.
You're resting your chin on your kneecaps in those chairs, man.
I got at least have a business class to sit in.
Spirit Airlines, man. I haven't flown many times, but the times I have was Southwest. That was all right. It was like middle.
That's grade. The same thing, isn't it?
Southwest.
It's pretty rough.
Frontier and Spirit all.
We rode on one, and it was the size of like a Dodge Caravan. I mean, it was like tiny, man. I was sketched out, but I mean, we made it.
The first time I went to Frymaster in Shreveport, like you had to fly a little bitty plane or a jet, and like they didn't even have like the jetway that come out. You had to walk down a ladder onto the ground and walk up another ladder to get inside the airport.
What airline was
that? You took a flight of stairs. on your flight.
Remember the airline? It's been like 16 years since I've been there. Last time they actually had jetways. Now you have to walk down the tarmac and walk up, but it was hilarious. It's a teeny airport, man.
Yeah, it's like that in Portland.
Mm-hmm. So, well, anything else, guys, you want to talk about? We've been going for 50 minutes almost. So,
yeah, fun chat next week, maybe.
Yeah, next week. I'm not leaving till probably Friday morning, but we can do something Thursday night. I'm interviewing the ladies from Rigid, 100 Years. They're going to talk about that in the morning. And then, we're going to do this next week as long as everybody's available. We'll see if we can't get anyone else on. So,
yeah, if you're already doing one show that day, I'll do the week after or something.
I'm going to record it and save it for like when.
It's not live? Okay.
I know, it's 9:30 in the morning. So,
Pat's a workhorse. He's got this. He's all right.
Yeah, I've got it planned next week. Next week's a rough week because they're trying to cram a ton of work in me. And I've like a half a day Monday, a half a day Thursday, and I'm off Friday. They're like, we have 6 rationales that need installed, 7 Unoxes. I literally have 5 fry pots in my warehouse waiting on me. I had 4, and then like another one showed up. And I was like, where'd this come from? Like, we just went ahead and quoted off the last one, so it's for this one. I was like, I don't know how to do this, guys. I tried to get them to give me a fry part and install on Saturday, and they're like, we'll see what we can do.
I don't feel great about doing work I didn't quote and work on and diagnose myself, man.
It's these fry masters at Taco Bell. They have this pot plug in there where the oil's back sensor could go. So they put a plug in there since Taco Bell didn't go with the oil's back sensor. Well, they used a cast iron plug in a stainless steel pot. So if you know anything about dissimilar metals, they expand contraction rates, and they back themselves out, and they leak. Well, the in-house maintenance guys are supposed to be tightening them up on a PM, but they don't do it. And then they call us and like, hey, this fryer is not lighting. It's not heating up properly. It's not heating fast enough, and I got oil leaking on the front, so I don't even go out. Here's a fry pot. You're done. Because you can actually change all the insulation on the front, change all the burners, but by the time you do that, you're better off just to change the fry pot and get all new shit and be done with it.
I've never had to change a fry pot before. I wouldn't know where to start, to be honest with you.
I've done electric ones. I've even done electric ones because I've had 480-volt fryers. The element will actually blow, and it'll blow a hole through the element and blow a hole through the fry pot.
What's the longest it's taken you to do a fry pot?
It was a Pitco, and it was at a wing place, and it was 12 years old, and it took me about 7 hours because I could not get it apart.
I had a Pitco a couple months back, 11 hours. It took me to do that fry pot. All the grease.
So what are you doing? Frying it apart or cutting it? Or what are you doing?
I had to use a jack and a 4x4 to be able to pry the pot off of the sidewalls and stuff. It was that caked on with grease. I was like,
why would someone approve that?
They got the pot under warranty, and it was a super expensive fryer. So for them to pay, $2,000 or less in labor for it to get done, they were like, yeah, it's a deal.
Wait, how old did you say it was?
The one that I did, it was still under warranty, so it had to be less than 5 years old. But I mean, the worst part about that is after the fact, we found out it was a huge misdiagnosis. One of our guys went out there because they called in the fryer being on fire. So he, I guess, just looked and said, oh, the tank must be leaking. Turns out the burners, they've got like a mesh on the front of them, and it was clogged up. So what was happening is the burners were backflowing the flame. So I went out there like a week after I did the fry pot, and they're like, hey, it's on fire again. So when I see it, I asked the kitchen manager, I'm like, is this what it was doing when the other guy diagnosed the bad tank? She's like, yeah, that's exactly what it was doing. I pulled out the burners, took them to the sprayer, sprayed them out, put them back in, and they've been good since.
This comment right here, Ultra Fryer, there's a place called Freddy's Custard up here, and they have Ultra Fryers, and it wasn't the longest, but that was the worst fry pot I've ever changed in my entire life. They're now part of Pitco. It was absolutely terrible. It's got a rear draft inducer like the Henny Pennies have. The Henny Pennies have the draft inducer on the back that pulls everything through. That style of burner, and it was an absolute bear. It was just terrible. I forgot all about that until he said Ultra Fryer. So, all right, guys. Well, I won't keep you any longer. We'll get together next week. I'll send some stuff out so we can figure out. Yeah, Freddy's Frozen Custard. Yep. So it was great talking to you guys. Like I said, we'll hit something up next week, see if we can get somebody on or go from there. So appreciate you guys coming on, spending your time here. Any last
Appreciate
words?
you having us. I just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Yeah, we got Hughes, man. We got Jennifer, Mike Reed's been in here, XOF. So there's been a lot of good people in here. So. All right,
I appreciate Pat for having me on and whatnot. This is my third podcast. It's getting a little bit easier. So thanks,
fun, man. I just like to hang out and chat. Like there's some that are super scripted, super questions. That's not my style, man. I just want to have fun and talk to people.
I'm bringing booze next time.
Hey.
Highlights, man.
See you guys.
Yeah, later.
Thanks for hanging out to the end. If you could do me a favor, please like and subscribe and leave us a rating and review. It really helps us grow the channel, and I'm trying to get some great guests on. So if you could do all that, it'd really help us out. Thanks a lot.